back, let's go. Set the pace, watch me steal the show. Higher ground, yeah, I'm rising fast. This is my moment, it's built to last. Keep the focus.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant Show. I'm your host, Rebecca Whitman, helping you go from burned out to balanced, beautiful, and abundant. And today I have a wonderful guest in the studio. Welcome to the show, Andrew Colombini.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on here.
It is so great to see you again. We had such a great conversation when I had the pleasure of being on your summit, and I wanted to get the full coaching session with you and learn about my biotype. And I was so excited by the information that I was like, I have got to share you with my community so they can learn all about this powerful tool, not only for life, but for business. So let me tell my audience a little bit about your amazing background. We're not even going to talk about your music producing days in Hollywood. That was not on your official bio. But Andrew is the founder of Amplify My Why, where he helps people decode their clients' hidden buying patterns using biotypes. This is a science-backed framework for how people think, trust, and buy. His clients align their sales and marketing with their natural wiring, attracting better leads and closing more deals without the hustle and burnout, which is what we're all about on this show. When strategy matches biology, business gets easy. Wow. And I'm going to add in fun, because easy is fun and hard is not. So I know I mentioned I gave my audience a teaser, kind of like I was in a past life an actress in Hollywood. You were pursuing music in Hollywood. Tell us your origin story. Like, where did you grow up? What did you do with music? And how did you end up in this line of work?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's always been guided by intuition and trust, and that has opened up doors that my mind could never conceive. I grew up in Stockton, California, which is Central Valley. When I was 17, my first job was selling Cutco knives. By accident, I was supposed to get a job, and my mom's like, "You got to get a job." And I come back home saying, "I'm selling knives." And she's like, "What?" Luckily, it worked out. Luckily, my biotype is wired for sales. I was really good at it. It worked 4 years in. I was a manager and things were working, and I wanted to expand out. So I went into door-to-door sales. I was selling alarms door-to-door, and that was definitely the school of hard knocks. And then from there, I went and sold solar. And then after all that, I'm like, I hate sales. I don't want to do sales. What do I want to do in life? I had this come to Jesus moment. So I just kind of looked at what my passion is. I think we should always follow passion, which is different than motivation. And I was really interested in music and being a DJ.
Wait, we're gonna go back to that. That's a good question. How is passion different than motivation? So keep going. I'm making a note of that.
Okay. Do you want me to touch on that or get back to it?
We'll circle back to it after you finish.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So music kept popping up. I would write it down in my journal. These are the top 10 things I'm going to do in my life. Okay. So I just dove in and went back home. I left mid-season, which my manager's really mad, but didn't matter because this is what I wanted to do. And I followed my passion until I couldn't anymore. But went back home, learned music, decided where's the best place to be a DJ to actually make it. My cousin, who was living in LA, who made it as a hairstylist, he's like, this is the place to come, dude. Like, just come. So I looked at schools specifically for this type of music production, electronic music, found a school there, found a place that was close by, on a whim, went over there. And that's what I pursued for a while until it came to a point of, yeah, but for what? What's this purpose? Why am I doing music? Just to be on stage and have a crowd cheer? Like, I want more meaning. And there was a student in my class who was studying sound healing, which I thought was ridiculous, but cool. right? I'm a kind of a skeptic that wants to believe in magic. So I was like, all right, she was offering free sessions. So I was like, whatever. So she gave me one and I felt very relaxed. I felt very in tune. And I was like, something happened here. I don't know what. So again, I just took a leap into that and started getting certified as a sound healer. And sound healing, the spiritual community and all that's very popular in LA. So I said, why not? This is a great place to do it. Followed that passion until I got to a point where I'm like, I can't really make any money doing this. And I'm back in sales. Hello. That kept coming up too. But while I was there, of course, things come into my life. I don't know. Biotypes come into my life. Like my mind isn't the thing that's determining things. It's this allowance.
Yeah,
And
things
I
find
was correct. Yeah.
yeah.
And I needed to expand out and be different. And so I started partnering with other people that were sound healers or had some kind of magic that they did in the spiritual space. And I found this woman. We started doing events together, hosting them. And she had this technology called the live stream generator, which I didn't know what the heck it was. I wasn't really interested in it at first, but we would do sessions together. And the people who showed up were blown away, like absolutely blown away. They're like, wow, like this is the best. I'm like, okay, this is different than when I just do a sound bath. Like, what the heck is this technology? And so I met the inventor. This is a long story, making it super short. He worked in Lockheed Martin, top secret for 20 years. He was in special effects. He would go to Egypt many times for the mystery schools. And he developed this technology using a component over 80 years old that you can't make of today's technology, that accesses a 0-point energy field, which brings your body back into balance. 0 point, no mind. So no positive or negative charge. You're just right here and present. And I started working with that and connecting the dots, connecting the circle as I'm doing this healing business with the life stream generator. I'm back in sales. And I'm like, okay, so COVID happened. That was a brick and mortar business. COVID happened. I'm like, I need to be online. And that's when I started my online coaching business. And it's been evolving ever since. Found Biotypes through that process. But that's kind of like my journey in a nutshell, how I went from sales back to sales.
Well, everything is sales. When you think about
Yes.
it,
Everything's enrollment, I would say. Everything's enrollment.
enrollment. Every conversation, someone is sharing their passion, sharing their opinion, convincing someone else that their opinion or point of view is valid. So I would say everything is an enrollment conversation, and the person
Absolutely.
who has the most conviction and passion wins, which brings me to your other point. What is the difference between passion and motivation, in your opinion?
Yeah. So motivation gets you going, but it fizzles.
Mm.
And there's this whole quote, motivation gets you started and discipline keeps you going. Great. But what's the discipline grounded in? What's your intention with the discipline? Just because you have discipline, you can keep going doesn't mean that the end goal is what you want. Maybe that's guided by the ego. Maybe that's guided by the not self or the persona, which is what I go and dig into. There's the biotype and then there's a false biotype that we develop. But passion comes from truth, comes from authenticity. It's an energy that you can keep going. It's an energy that involves discipline. Passion is something that even if you don't want to do it, you still do it because you're passionate about the direction you're going. That's the difference between motivation and passion, in my opinion.
Very good. I love that distinction. So I want to get into the biotypes after the next commercial break because I don't want to be interrupted. But let's go back to sales. How many things have you sold? And what is your method of sales now that you've studied the biotypes, you've studied human design, astrology, numerology, and you've incorporated all these amazing disciplines and philosophies into your life? Has it changed you as a salesperson?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a deep question. Well, I've sold. So you want to know like all the different things that I've sold first?
Yeah, just for
Okay.
fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need
yeah.
my Cutco knives.
I've sold, yeah, knives, Vivint alarm systems, solar panels, sound healing sessions, um, electrotherapy sessions, um, packages now. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that I've sold, but that's pretty much the majority of it.
And
So,
what have you learned about life and
yeah,
everything through
there's
this?
a difference between selling and enrollment. Selling is getting someone to do something regardless if they want to or not. And enrollment is getting people to see the vision for themselves and walking them through, holding their hand, getting them to do the thing that they really want to. That takes a higher level of intuition and understanding of people, and even a like, this isn't for you type of attitude as well, even if they're ready and willing and want to. So it's like this higher level of sales, I guess. Sales also has this weird meaning. Technically, they kind of mean the same thing, but enrollment is what, that's just what lands for me.
Enrollment is finding out what somebody's vision is and showing them the path to achieve their own vision. But then it always, not always, often people see the vision, but they are scared that they won't be able to achieve it.
Sure.
So, what do you tell someone who is scared to get out of their comfort zone? They're like, I see the vision and
Uh-huh.
I know you can help me through your
Uh-huh.
methodology, but
Sure.
Andrew, I'm too scared to get out of my comfort zone. What would
Yeah.
you tell that
I would
person?
say the first thing I'd say is I'm not surprised.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, I kind of expected this. That's the first thing I'd say. And
Okay.
I just sit with it. And it's a spiritual journey I'd go on with people, I guess you can say. But it's like, yeah, of course you're saying this because it depends on the context always, but if it's certain biotypes will say that. But you and me probably won't. We're probably certain about what we want. And it's like, I don't trust you, Andrew, the other person, or I don't trust your product, but typically you and I trust ourselves. What you're saying is something that people don't trust themselves. Because there's only three reasons why people don't move forward. They don't trust you, they don't trust the product, or they don't trust themselves. And then I guess like the
That is so
side note.
good. They don't trust you, they don't trust the product, or they don't trust themselves. I think they don't trust themselves to use the product or, be successful. Like if it's
Correct.
coaching or if it's like a nutritional supplement, they think, oh, well, I'll buy the product, I'll buy the coaching package and I won't apply it, or I'll buy the diet system and I won't use it. I'll just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't trust themselves to use what they're buying. I know we're going to get into biotypes in a second. I think that my biotype, I am like the easiest person to close because I'm
Yeah.
such an emotional buyer and people buy with emotion and then they justify with logic.
For the most part, yes. I would say how you buy is first you have to see the result. It has to matter for you. If
Right.
there's no result, there's no destination, there's no point.
Exactly.
And the second thing I would say is then you need to know not all the details, but you need to know like, okay, well, how does this even happen? This is a great result. I love it, but what's step one? What's step seven? And then once
Exactly.
you get a general idea, you're like, okay, got it. But what you're saying with people who don't trust themselves, those are specific biotypes. That's the way they're wired. They don't trust themselves. And that also means a lot emotionally. Like they're going to view more of a mother figure in their life than a father figure. So they're going to have resistance to males or masculine energy. There's this whole deep rabbit hole of enrollment. But yes, to go back, there's only three reasons why people don't move forward. It's all trust. And then the secondary to those would be they just don't have the actual money right now. But that doesn't mean that they can't get the money. Right?
Right.
And that's the whole enrollment process is getting them excited and passionate about moving forward. And even if they sign up, they sign the contract, they buy the product, they're still not a client. You have to get them through. The process of enrollment is converting a prospect into a client. So there's a lot of psychology. There's still here's the thing. Sales is still sales. This isn't like some new framework, but it's like, what's the right framework to work here versus there? And if they respond to that, and if they're this type, it's just more precise. It's precision, basically.
Well, we are going to hold that thought. This is going to be amazing. When we come back from this commercial break, we're going to talk about the biotypes. This is going to help you not only understand yourself, but understand your clients, understand your family members, understand your spouses and lovers and friends. Like, this is such juicy, valuable knowledge. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is Rebecca Whitman interviewing Andrew Colombini on the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant Show.
How clean is the water you're drinking and bathing in? If you call Aquasana Water today, they'll provide you with a free assessment telling you the condition of your tap water. Aquasana sells whole house water filters starting at $1,000. Isn't that worth it to have a 10-year supply of filtered, cleaner water? Aquasana water filters tackle chlorine taste and odor and can reduce contaminants like viruses, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics, depending on the system you purchased. So make the free call, find out the condition of your water, and make your water cleaner the Aquasana way. It's a smart decision for you and your family and a must for a healthy home. Get a whole house Aquasana water system starting at $1,000 for your entire home. Call and find out the condition of your water with a free water assessment. 800-925-6029. 800-925-6029. 800-925-6029. That's 800-925-6029.
Everything is expensive right now. Gas, food, you name it. You're spending more, you are making the same or less money. So, what do? You rack up credit card debt. That's what you do. It's not your fault. It's the economy. And guess what? If you rack up too much credit card debt like some of us, you can't pay your bills. Then the credit card companies, as nice as they are, start hounding you for money. Then you start your downward spiral. A smart thing for you to do is to call the Zero Debt. They can help you consolidate all your credit card bills into one affordable payment. Millions of people have done it. It works to make you debt-free. Make this free call right now. It costs you nothing to learn more.
800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. 800-628-5675. That's 800-628-5675.
Hey there, gorgeous. Quick question. Do you want to look younger, feel stronger, and glow like the star that you are? Of course you do, honey. So here's the deal. Your body wants to age gracefully, but stress, sugar, and time are not on your side. Enter the game changer you didn't know you needed, liquid collagen. This isn't your average powdery, chalky mess. Oh no, honey, this is next level science. Our liquid collagen has a 93% bioavailability rate. Powdered collagen is 30% at best. This means your hair, skin, nails, joints get the VIP treatment. If you want to reduce wrinkles, feel amazing in your body, and turn heads, this is your glow up in a bottle. Don't wait. Your future self is literally begging for this. Click the link in the show notes to grab your bottle today. But hurry, supplies are limited and this kind of fabulous will not last forever. You deserve this. Now go shine like the balanced, beautiful, and abundant star that you are.
Don't look back, let's go. Set the pace, watch me steal the show.
Welcome back to the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant Show. We are going to talk about what are the biotypes.
Fantastic. Let's dig in.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot to it. I'm going to make it as short and sweet as possible. Biotypes, technically health types, developed by PH360 or Precision Health Alliance, an Australian company. And they basically looked at the past, the identifications of people. This isn't new. The TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, they were doing this first. There are different constitutions, qi, low qi, no yang, excess yin, etc. There's 9 of them. There is an old story of a emperor's doctor. His job was to keep the emperor not sick. And if the emperor got sick, they would kill the doctor.
Wow.
So yeah, so he had to be really good at identifying what was wrong. And TCM goes along. I mean, looking at the face, the tongue, and stuff tells us a lot about our body.
Mm-hmm.
The Ayurvedics, they have the doshas, the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. The Greeks, Galen and Hippocrates, they did the four humors: melancholic, sanguine, phlegmatic, and choleric. Okay, and then recently Eisnick has the 3 body types: ecto, meso, and endomorphs. Okay, so PH 360 looked at all of that and said what's true and what's BS. Surprisingly, 80% of it was spot on. Like, the ancients had it right. They didn't have technology like us. They just had observation, which is fascinating. Until, I don't remember the date, but once, because this is like pseudoscience, it really wasn't. This was the actual way of identifying people. One man's medicine is another man's poison. And that's the only way you can really diagnose somebody. Some people live better in cold climates, some in hot, and that's important. And we can dig into that a little bit if you want. But once penicillin
I don't want to dig into that because I just moved from California to Ohio and I'm here
Yeah.
right now.
Great.
But go back to the overview.
Yeah, no worries. So once antibiotics were introduced, then it became standardized, and then we can just give a pill to everyone. And then the medical industry is crap. We didn't all come out of Africa. There's 3 origin races, and you can look at someone's biology. Just looking at someone reveals hormones. Hormones shape our face. Is it longer? Is it shorter? Do we have a longer pointer finger, smaller ring finger? Waist to hip ratio, longer legs, shorter legs, wingspan. Is it as long as our body or longer? All this means something. And so, to make it really simple, in the womb, there's 3 germ layers. Ectomorph creates the brain, nervous system, and skin. Endoderm creates the guts, internal organs. And then the mesoderm creates the muscles, skeletal, or the muscles, the joints, and the heart. Think of like the brain, heart, brain, gut, brain. These 3 layers, the preference of the baby in the womb determines your health type. So if you're more primarily meso, that's activator. If you're primarily endo, that's guardian. If you're primarily ecto, that's sensor. And then the other 3 are a mix. So you and me are a mix. We're a mix of mesoderm and ectoderm. So we have this intellect, but we also have this strong will. It has to do with the muscle. When we go work out, we can get toned pretty easy. We can eat pretty much whatever we want. No big deal. Meso, ecto. Then we have diplomats, which are ecto and endo mix. And then we have connectors, which are meso and endo mix. So that gives you the
So
6.
if you're listening, ecto is tall and slender.
Correct.
Body type. Meso is medium build, more athletic body type, and
Yeah.
endo is more rotund.
Just they hold on, more retained. There's going to be more fat. It's just so there's different body types. They're all morphed depending on. I'll just finish with this. Depending on the climate we were living in, is the body type that was developed. It's an adaptation to our environment. And if people live in really cold climates, they probably are more endo because they have more fat. They have more protection. If people are in warmer, moist climates, they're probably more slim and slender. We've been mixing a lot for thousands of years, so it's harder to like say which or where we came from, but that's essentially health types or biotypes in a nutshell, the science of it.
You can change it. So this is a crazy thing, Andrew. So I took the 23andMe test, and my DNA is Eastern European.
Yep.
Very cold part of the world. So based on my age and my DNA, I'm supposed to be 170 pounds. But because I'm like obsessed with health and wellness and nutrition and workout and do everything that I can do to be fit, and it's a true discipline and a lifestyle and a passion of mine, I'm like 145 pounds. So what would you say to that? Because my DNA is supposed to be more, and my relatives and my family are more endo.
Yeah. Well, it's you're so both of your parents could be completely different types. It's kind of in a pool of 5 generations that your type can be formed.
Okay.
But you can't change your biotype, but you can. And what I mean by that is imagine 360 degrees. Each type has a 60-degree section. So let's say 0 to 60 is 1. Okay, if you're in the middle, like I am, I'm in the middle of Crusader. I'll move maybe from 30 to 20 or from 30 to 45, depending if I exercise more or if I'm more loving and caring. How we are with people.
Wait. Being
Influences.
more loving and caring
Yeah.
makes you fat.
not, not necessarily, but kind of, because it releases hormones when you're loving and caring. It's either oxytocin or prolactin, and that is going to influence body. It's going to influence how we are. As a matter of fact, you and I, both Crusaders, but let's say I had blonde hair and brown eyes, I'm going to be a very different Crusader. There's like microfascial systems in our body that release hormones that influence our shape. And so, yes, you can move your health type. Some types move more than others. So diplomats and guardians tend to move more. But when we take the 17 measurements, I didn't even say how we actually do this. So again, it's not psychometrics. It's not like, hey, what's your favorite color? Or if you see 3 people in a room.
It's not a personality test. It's based on your
correct.
physique. Yeah.
It's biometrics. It's just 17 measurements and 20 HRA, which is like what color is your hair and skin and whatnot. That creates your health type. So you can move, but not so much. All you have to do is just follow your rhythms. So you get 4 clocks. This is what I help I help people with marketing, sales, and themselves in the business. And some people should not work. I tell some of my clients sleep in, which is the craziest.
Let's talk about that. Why don't we talk about each of the biotypes? And because this show's all about helping people overcome burnout and overwhelm. That's the intention of the show. So why don't we talk about each of the biotypes and what their work schedule would be?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll make it simple. It's very complex. Let's do simple. So let's start with the traditional entrepreneurs. That's going to be people who have a mesodermic layer. So that's going to be primarily activators, some connectors, and then crusaders as well. These are the people that are built for business. Those 3 can wake up early. Their cortisol peaks right when they wake up, and it starts to dip as their day goes on. Okay. The other side, which are sensors, diplomats, and guardians, typically their energy peaks later in the day. So if it's later in the day, if they start waking up early and exercise and follow all the success stuff that's really for others, they're going to burn themselves out. And if they keep doing that, the body doesn't forget and it stacks up. And then that's when actual gut ulcers, just a lot of terrible things happen to the body if it's pushed like that, because those types are lower energy. They don't have as higher sex steroidal hormones. They're not designed for this.
So how can people find out? Do you have a quiz on your website that people can take to find out what their type is?
Yeah. So if they go to my website, they can, I have a free gift that they can grab. And it's not only going to help them figure out their type, but it's also going to give them info about their ideal client and like some easy formulas to talk to them. But to speak on that, they're later in the day people. They're like night owls. So they peak around 12 too. And they should follow that. So slow morning. And then also when you take client calls and when you should focus and when you should run meetings, like this is all in our DNA.
That's interesting because I feel so good taking client calls in the morning, and then after lunch, I thought it was food coma, but I just I don't want to be really on and engaged after lunch. I can do it, but it's just draining for me. I like doing my big stuff early in the morning, but I used to say the hardest part of my day is just getting out of bed. So
yeah.
That doesn't sound much like a crusader, but I know.
The hardest part, because you're once you get out of bed, then the cortisol peaks.
it does start to kick in.
And then you're just, then you're
Then
ready to go.
the actual act, because I'm like a really deep sleeper, so it's hard to get out of bed. But then once I'm out of bed, yes, I am going. So what is the biotype advantage? What do you mean by that?
Yeah. There's a lot of advantages when you understand biology, but we'll relate it simply to business. So when you understand, we'll start off with understanding your ideal client. So if you understand, let's say, for example, mine are primarily diplomats, and diplomats, because I know what part of the brain they use the most, I know what my marketing should look like. They don't
So
care.
where are
Yeah.
diplomats hanging out? Like, how do you find your ideal client, and why
Yeah.
is your ideal client diplomats? Like, how do you serve them?
Yeah, that's good. So there's always a lot of nuance here.
Mhm.
It's again, I could have two clients and they have the same offer, but two different ideal clients. Again, it's energy, it's themselves, it's what they want to do in their business. But I'll keep it simple with mine. So, okay, so in this realm, it's biotypes, and people kind of associate it with astrology right now. They associate it with human design, which is fine. It's not. There's more science to it, but women tend to be more interested in that stuff, and diplomats tend to be more interested in that concept. If we went into finance and crypto, masculine men are probably going to be more, or masculine types. The masculine types are crusaders, activators, and connectors. And then the female types are more. When I say that, like obviously male and female can be both, but you're going to find more of those types in these areas. So
I know you did it before, but just if somebody's just on the treadmill or driving, one more time, just describe each type in like 1 or 2 sentences.
yeah, I'll make it. Yeah, it's simple macro. So we'll start with you and I. We're crusaders. We're driven by dopamine. It's all about drive. It's about achievement.
Right.
And so that's us. We're frontal brained, and we care about logic and details and results. Activators, which is next, they're a primarily mesoderm layer. They're driven by ACTH or testosterone, so it's basically stress. They're usually shorter. They're driven quick bursts, and then they need quick rests. So that's activator. Then we have connector, which is next. That's a meso-endo mix. They're driven by oxytocin, which is the love, caring. Not the love, caring. That's like the social, giving someone a hug, petting an animal. They're very social people. And then we have guardians. Guardians they're people driven. Guardians are primarily endo. They are driven by prolactin. Prolactin is the love, nurture, care. Think of everybody else but yourself. And we'll get to that in a second. So those are guardians, tend to be more bigger, sturdy build. Connectors, medium, sturdy build. Activators, shorter, more muscular build. Then we have diplomats, which are ecto, endo. They are driven by serotonin, which is the reward. Dopamine is the anticipation of. Serotonin is the reward. And they range in types. Like they look very different, but they tend to have softer features. Same with endo people tend to have softer features. So diplomats and guardians. And then sensors are super lean. They're ecto. They're driven by vasopressin, which is analyzing thoughts, thinking, very slender, slim people. And then if we went into it, different ones antagonize. I'm just going to say one. So the opposite of us is guardian, which is prolactin. Prolactin antagonizes dopamine. This is actually great maybe for burnout. So when women give birth, there's a massive amount of prolactin that's released into the body. And that's for many reasons. They just had this crying, pooping baby that they've carried and they want to love and care for it. So a lot of prolactin is released. Dopamine antagonizes it. If a woman goes too quickly back to work, dopamine starts to flood. It starts to antagonize, starts to lower prolactin, and it starts to cause a lot of problems mentally.
Wow. We're going to hold that thought. I'm really enjoying this conversation. I want you to tell us when we come back from this break how we can tell the way someone will buy just by how they show up. Maybe how you can tell by how they're dressing, their whatever, their jewelry, their mannerisms, because I know we can't always see someone on a Zoom, their whole biology. And you kind of weren't sure where I was at before we went into our coaching session. So everyone, we're going to be right back with some incredible information about biotypes that can change the way you sell and relate. I'm Rebecca Whitman, your host of the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant podcast.
Keep the focus, keep the drive. No slow motion, I'm alive. Power surging, can't deny. I'm unstoppable, touch the sky.
People ask all the time, who the heck is low-cost airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now. 800-451-8603. 800-451-8603. 800-451-8603. That's 800-451-8603.
Hey there, fellow travelers, it's me, the Hotel Whiz. Before you go anywhere, call me day or night for hotel rates too low to publish. I'll save you up to 75% on over 500,000 hotels across the globe. You see, I've already done the research, so you don't have to spend time online trying to find the best deal. That's up to 75% off. Just call me, the Hotel Whiz. It's a free call and you get instant access to rates too low to publish with no cancellation fees.
Make a free call now and save up to 75% off your hotel rooms the next time you're going somewhere for business or pleasure. Call the Hotel Whiz now and get instant access to rates too low to publish. 800-590-1163. 800-590-1163. 800-590-1163. Call the Hotel Whiz right now for rates too low to publish. 800-590-1163.
Okay, can I be real for a second? You're out there crushing it in some areas of your life, but in others, it's like a hot mess express. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. You're not just meant to survive, you're meant to thrive. And that's exactly what I help my clients do in my coaching program. Together, we'll tackle all 7 pillars of abundance, because who wants killer abs but a dumpster fire of a bank account? Or a thriving career but 0 in the romance department? Yeah, no thanks. I'm inviting you to schedule a breakthrough call with me. No pressure, no awkward sales pitch, just you, me, and a chance to figure out why you're stuck and how to get unstuck. So stop doom scrolling and start doing something about it. Click the link in the show notes and let's start giving you your best, most bougie life. You in?
Don't look back, let's go. Set the pace, watch me steal the show.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Balanced, Beautiful, and Abundant show. I'm interviewing Andrew Colombini. And I know you were kind of talking about the opposite of each of the biotypes. I don't want to get too much in the weeds because we don't have a lot more time, and there's some bigger topics I want to hit. So you'll have to schedule a session with Andrew if you want to learn all about the opposites. But how can we tell the way someone buys just by how they show up? Can you break that down for us?
Yeah. Well, first off, if someone was working with me, they would already know who's coming in because of the front end marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we've already identified that. But how I observe people is I look at their face first.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, certain types have long, square faces. You and I, usually ecto, have
Mm-hmm.
long square faces.
Mm-hmm.
Meso will tend to have square or V-shaped faces, and then endo will tend to have rounder shaped faces. The eyes, so there's a facial width to height ratio. So this is like the eyebrow to the under the nose. The longer or shorter it is reveals testosterone or estrogen. That's predominant in the body. So I'm looking at that. I don't always know. Just like with you, I wasn't exactly sure until people start speaking and what they're interested in. So when I'm talking to them, if people interrupt me, they're dominant in some way, shape, or form. I'm assessing, is this a biological thing? Is this a natural thing? Or is this something they learned?
Mm-hmm.
That's deep stuff. My clients don't need to know that because of the framework and the foundation we set before. That's why I focus on marketing, not just sales.
Mm-hmm.
But how do they interrupt? Are they really soft spoken? What are their visions? Here's the other thing. Do they tend to believe more in themselves or not in themselves? Do they exude external or internal confidence? Internal confidence is who I am is good enough. External confidence is belief in oneself's abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So just the way they're speaking and sharing and what they want.
How can you decipher if someone has internal or external confidence? That's some deep shit.
Yeah. Well, how people present themselves. I mean, look at how you've presented yourself here today. You're looking great. You got the pink on, right? You're very presentable. So that reveals a lot. That's why I was like, either a crusader, like this is your biology, or
Mm-hmm.
this is a personality. This is the 20%, 80% is biology, 20% personality or the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And um it's complicated, but when you understand, when I say give the formulas and stuff, it starts to make sense. But you sell the personality and you zip it up with the biotype.
Okay.
So if people are coming off as analytical, I'm going to give them details. If people are coming off loving and caring, I'm going to give them a lot of support in my process. If people are coming off very direct, I'm going to be very direct back. And then zipping up based off their biology. So like if you came in, I mean, you definitely have a presence. So I would make sure to get to the point, figure out the result that you want. And then I don't know, I guess I would just pick up and say, yeah, I feel like she still needs the details. Because I'd also listen to you. And if you're like explaining things, or if you're, there's a difference of someone who's direct and who's a crusader and direct, and an activator. Activators are direct and they're like quiet and they're just like, get to the point. It's a presence you feel. It's an energy, I guess you can say. So that's how I do it. Also, here's the other thing. Enrollment is still psychology. It's still, it's still NLP. It's still all that stuff. But what it really is me connecting with the person, how they want to be connected to.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. If you're a direct person, let's get to the point. I'm a direct person. Sometimes I have to sell people. Have to help people sell me. I'm like, dude, stop telling me stories about Susie and her results. I don't care about that. Like, what is the thing?
How much does it cost and what is the result?
Right.
Like, I don't need all the stories. That's all I want to know is how much does it cost and what is the result?
Correct.
What's the difference between an activator and a crusader? Because you said they're both very direct in their communication style.
Activator is, let's get started right now. This is the immediate result you're going to see. They don't need details. Details annoy them. Details are good for you because you want to conceptualize it to a degree of how this is going to work.
Right.
It's a difference of being frontal brained and back of the brain.
People mistake me as an analytical who are in sales because I do want to understand how it's going to work. And they're like, you're so analytical. I'm like, dude, I've never even balanced my checkbook. I don't even do QuickBooks. Like, I'm not analytical, but I do want to understand big picture. Like, how am I going to get from point A to point B? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah,
it's because crusaders if you're a crusader, you only use 2 to 3 different parts of the brain most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I also know. Activators use images. They're more about facial expressions and quickness and experience. Let's go. Let's get this. Let's make this happen. This is what you want. Boom. Activators are the easiest to sell. We're the easiest to sell as long as you don't annoy us.
I feel like I'm
Diplomats are the
the easiest
hardest.
person to sell. So if anybody who's watching this, take a shot. But yeah, I feel like I'm the easiest person to sell and the easiest person to make laugh, honestly. So
Hmm.
I'm pretty fun to hang out with.
Yeah,
So let's
definitely.
say, I know you train a lot of entrepreneurs. You have sold everything under the sun, from Cutco knives to alarms to coaching. What are some common mistakes you see entrepreneurs make when it comes to sales? And what advice could you give them?
Yeah. The most common thing I see is that they are following a process that was designed for a different type,
Mm-hmm.
or their process is designed to sell a different type that's in front of them.
What do you mean by that? The
So
process?
if I have a process that's very detail orientated and results focused, a guardian will not respond very well to that,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not hitting on the important part of they need to feel safe. It needs to be practical. I need to be in their corner to support them. That's what they need to hear.
Yes.
So it's it's
How do
following
you
a
know
process.
the wrong thing?
What's that?
Like these are the results you're going to get. The guardian would be like, I don't even know if I can ever get that. How are you going to support me along the way to get those results? Because I don't trust myself, right? Maybe they trust you and they trust the product, but they don't trust themselves.
Right.
You have to show them, I'm going to be here for you every step of the way to support
Mhm.
you.
Yeah. So like I tell people, I have Slack. So if I was talking to you, it's like, if you have a quick question, I'll knock it out for you. Just text me in Slack. I got you. For guardians, it's like, I'm in your pocket everywhere you go. If something happens, please pull that out and let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this way of, oh, this person gets me.
How do you think sales has changed over the years? Because I feel like people are now sales averse, and what worked, 10 or 20 years ago, people are like running for the hills. So what do you think has changed in the wonderful world of sales? I'm
Yeah,
glad
the wonderful,
it's making you laugh.
the wonderful world of sales. Yeah, what do we have to say about that? um, it's still missing. The most important thing is typology.
Yeah.
It's just like with health. You can't give the same health advice to everyone. It doesn't work. You can't teach the same sales process to everyone. But guess who it works for? Usually you and me are activators or some connectors. It's not always true like that. Of course, diplomats and guardians can succeed too, but it just makes sense for us. It works. We get it, and we're the ones that usually get the results. And I'd say the biggest problem I see in sales is people are teaching a methodology. First off, they're teaching sales, which is convincing. Enrollment influence is really all it is. Psychology. Sales is all psychology and influence, right? But I think also people are avoidant of sales because they need to be pushy. They need to like, oh, do something at the end. I don't get resistance. I have an 85% close ratio. Why
Wow.
is that? Because everything up front is handled. It's not like I'm so good I'm selling ice to a snowman. No, if a snowman doesn't want ice, I'm not going to give him ice. I make sure the marketing and everything is good up front. Like sales is dead. First off, sales is dead. Influence is all that's real. And we need to understand who our ideal clients are. We need to know how to speak their language. We need to understand their fears, the fears that they don't even know themselves. And when we come into an enrollment process, we're very clear with where we want to guide them. We're not there to get the sale. We're there to see this person before us, figure out what's their highest calling, and decide ourselves and themselves if moving forward is the right step.
Beautiful. Wow, that is beautiful. How can we overcome our limiting beliefs? Before we, based on, I know that's a deep one, but based on these different personality types and
Uh-huh.
people who feel stuck in their business or stuck in their dead end relationship or stuck in their health journey, using this methodology, how can we overcome our limiting beliefs?
When we stop pretending that we don't know, what are we pretending not to know? When I stop pretending that what I don't know and I start actually seeing it, going through it, and I Biotypes just helps me have compassion and understanding for people. If someone is reacting a certain way, I used to react to it, but now I understand why people are doing that. So I have more compassion, I have more
Used to
understanding.
take it personally, because that's what I've been working on my whole life, not to take things personally and realizing, oh, that's just their biotype. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. And then also ask myself, why am I feeling some type of way about that? What does that mean? Oh, it's connected to, and then because we all have a core belief, I'm not good enough. I can't. I'm not strong enough. Or who I am isn't worthy enough. I don't know how. I feel lost. I'm confused. I think understanding our core beliefs helps us understand the limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs is a weird word because we're still getting something from it. There's a payoff. Our beliefs are here to keep us safe. Our beliefs are formed from the unconscious, from the conscious, from the mind. I would say the biggest thing is disconnecting from the mind, which is difficult for you and me. But if we can get out of the mind and come into mindlessness, not mindfulness, but mindlessness, and connect into our intention. What do I want? Put everything aside, connect into passion energy. But how do we know what passion energy is? That's where biotypes and our rhythms and everything comes in. Okay, now I know I'm clear on myself. What's my passion? If anything comes in my way, I know that's my core belief, limiting belief. Great. Thank you. I understand. Self-cleaning oven, move it aside, keep going, and have zero expectation of the outcome.
That is well said. And what that reminds me of, and we'll end this interview, it's not how, it's why. Like we get so caught up in the how of things, we get in our head and we slow ourselves down, especially our personality type, our why, our passion. Just go, and being authentic, being ourselves, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. 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 So, and I'll say one last thing on that. The authenticity, we forgot what that was because our ego kept us safe. So we must first understand the beliefs we created, and our biotype reveals that. I see the thing is I give people what they want, but I actually give them I sell people what they want, but I actually give them what they need. And a lot of the work I do is unconscious belief work. Some people are running a business. I say, this is not even your passion. You're doing this. This is a dead end. You made a lot of money, and guess what? You're right back to where you started because you thought that this would make you feel some type of way. So let's reconnect to what you really want. What's your real vision aside from the ego that tried to keep you safe? And that's what I would say. Once we can get clear on who we aren't, who we are, Biotypes helps that. Find our passion. And then again, passion is a vacuum. It sucks you forward. You just go.
I love it. Well, we're back for full circle with the beginning of this interview,
Yeah.
passion versus motivation. So if you haven't heard the beginning of the interview, rewind and hear the whole thing. It's a beautiful conversation. I know my clients are going to be curious about their biotype, how they can stay in touch with you, and how they can learn how biotypes can help them in business and in life. So where can people connect with you?
Yeah, if you can amplify my.com, you can get a freebie there. And that's going to help you learn about your ideal client, use some formulas I use to help with marketing and sales. And then at the end of that, there's a link. I'm not sure if it's a direct link to book with me or an application, but you can click that. You can also, of course, learn more about me on Amplify My Why. I also have a Facebook group. There will be a link there as well. It's all about biotypes and sales. Get on my email list. It's free. I run a masterclass twice a month, and I host summits about twice a year where I interview people. Rebecca was a beautiful, amazing person on there. That's how we connected. And so, yeah, I have a lot of fun, free stuff for you guys to learn. And if you're interested and want to dig more in, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for being my guest. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Share this podcast with a friend. Spread the message that you can be high achieving while having fun and joy in your life and not experiencing burnout. And until we meet again, keep your vibe high and magnetized. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Yay.
Level up, don't look back, let's go. Set the pace, watch me steal the show. Higher ground, yeah, I'm rising fast. This is my...
Hey there, it's Rebecca, your magnetic abundance mentor. Let me ask you something. Are you feeling stuck, burned out, or like life just isn't as juicy as you know it can be? If you're nodding right along, it's time for a breakthrough. My coaching program is designed to help you align your life in all 7 pillars of abundance: spiritual, physical, emotional, romantic, mental, social, and financial, so you can finally live that big, bold, sexy, and adventurous life you deserve. And here's the best part. I'm inviting you to schedule a breakthrough call with me. No pressure, no sales gimmicks, just a genuine chance to experience my coaching firsthand and get crystal clear on what is next for you. Because your best life is not a someday thing, it's a right now thing. So click the link in the show notes to book your breakthrough call and let's start making magic together. Your next level is calling you. And now for our podcast review of the week. This one says Gaining Clarity, and it's from Kate House. Listening to and learning from Rebecca has helped me gain clarity on what matters most to me, and it has inspired me to take action. Thank you so much. Yes, we are in the action business, and God is in the results business.